You guys have questions, we have answers. Today's question is why grow your business? We're going to answer that in 15 seconds. We'll be right back. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Good Success Q&A. This is a question and answer for Good Success, and today we got our president Wayne Schaefer on the show with us. Our very first episode was actually last week. We had Gary Harper, our vice president, on the show, and today's question is going to be why grow a business. And one of Wayne's friends, Lee, actually asked this question. Now, we actually did do a quick tip video on this topic, but again, it's a quick tip video, so we didn't give a lot of content on there, and we were possibly thinking about doing a podcast, but I felt like this was perfect, and Wayne agreed with that as well, and he actually gave me the idea. But we figured this was perfect for the Q&A videos because he says he gets this question asked all the time because of the people we deal with and everything. So this is a perfect topic for this subject. Now, let me remind you guys, this is a Q&A video series. Once a week we come out with these videos, and we'll do more if you guys give us more questions. So make sure you submit your questions to us. We'll have a link below. You go to goodsuccess.com/ask and submit your question there. Or you can actually go to any of our social media platforms and submit a direct message to us and ask your questions. Ask anything about real estate, investing, business, anything at all that you can think of that has to do with those topics. And we'll bring a professional on the show to answer your question. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this, Wayne. So why grow your business? What's the purpose of this? I mean, there's a lot of people out there asking this. So before I get started, Wayne, I need you guys to not pay attention to my forehead because I was out in the sun, and that includes you. I was out in the sun this weekend, and it's peeling. So I just had to get out. I just had to get that out of the way because.
Well, I'm glad you told me because I didn't even notice.
No, he's gonna stare at it the entire time. Whatever.
All right. So why grow a business? Definitely a question that I get asked quite a bit, and I thought, and just recently Lee asked me why do you want to grow this big business? Why do you want all these employees? And it's funny because I have people ask me this, and as if why do you want to inflict all this pain on yourself? Yeah. And I've even had people in the early stages warn me about, you don't want to grow a big business, stay small, it's manageable, and so people, it was just funny because in the early stages people were warning me along the way. People were like, why are you doing this? And
this is Lee, who actually came to our Belief event,
right,
and saw our inner workings too. And
right.
Did he ask this question before or after that?
Well, he asked it several times. I've known Lee for a while. He asked me before he came, but he also, when on one of our breakout sessions, we discussed it for quite some time.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm going to tell you what I told Lee, and I'm going to tell our audience what I told Lee that day. And I'm not sure I convinced him, but he did consider it. Because there are definitely some benefits to growing a big business. The first thing I want to say before I even get into this is that I was immediately reminded of a Bible verse. Proverbs 14:4 says, "Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the oxen." So bottom line, to a degree, what people were telling me was, hey, you don't want employees, because they make a messy crib, according to the Proverbs 14:4. But they totally ignore the second part of that verse. It says, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. I'm not saying that it's all pros. There's cons to it also, but I'm just going to talk about the pros mainly today. But the first thing, why grow a big business, or why even grow your business and a big business, is number one, it helps your customers. Well, if you work a type of business that actually helps other people, the more you can do that business, the more people you're able to help.
Right.
Okay, so that's one reason to grow a big business, is it allows you to help more customers, and which is really important if what you do actually helps people. You know, and I'm reminded of the story of a young boy who was walking along the ocean there, and he started picking up. It was like a million like starfish that had washed up on the shore, and he started taking the shellfish and the starfish and throwing them back in the ocean one at a time. And guy walked up to him and say, "Son, you know what are you doing?" He said, "I'm trying to save these starfish." And he's like, "Well, son, there's a million of them out here. You can't help all of them." And he took one, he threw it out there, and he said, "Yeah, but I can help this one." And so bottom line, you know, the idea is if what you do really helps, the more you can do it, you can help more people. So, you know, if this boy would have turned it into a big business, he could have had 100 of his friends out there throwing these starfish in as well. And and it would have been to help more starfish. You know, that's the concept.
Now, a step before that, though, is, and I'm not sure if you're going to talk about it, I doubt you will, but is the getting the right people in place, because I'm sure I can understand where Lee's coming from with, you know, asking this question, because maybe he's had bad dealings with multiple employees before, and a lot of people have.
Yeah.
So there's a step before all of this that you got to make sure you put the right people in place, which maybe we'll talk about in another episode. No, I'm not sure if you're going to talk about it.
No, that's a key. That's a key with rental properties too. Yeah, I've had rental properties where they've been a very good experience, and I've rental properties where they've been a very bad experience, and it's all pretty much the tenant makes the difference, you know. But yeah, same thing. Employee, you don't just not have rental properties because you don't want to deal with renters. You got to screen them better. You got to be careful who you let in the door.
And if you put the right people in place and you hire the right people, then what you just said about you know, helping others and helping more people will take effect, because they'll believe in your vision, and that's a big thing with growing a business too, which I'm sure you're going to get to.
That's true. That's true. The second reason, and this is the one where I think I made some headway with Lee when we were talking about it, but he is the fact that if you have people helping you, and you know, you can kind of put your business on autopilot. It'll run with very little to none of your involvement, and that's where I had told Lee. I said, you know, Lee, you know, what happens if something happens to you? What happens to your business? He said, "Oh, that'd be bad. You know, nothing. I mean, everything come to a screeching halt." And I said, "Hey, what if something happened to?" He has one other person works with him. I said, "What happens? What if something happens to her?"
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, the one or two other people he has.
Yeah. So what if something happens to? He said that'd even be worse if something happened to me. You know, because she was like his right hand person. They were just a two person operation. And so it definitely allows us to help more customers if we grow. It allows us to be able to put our business on autopilot if we're willing to hire people on and train them and make sure we screen and get the right people in. Another thing I notice is it forces me to grow as a person. You know, obviously, you know, we kind of settle into our status quo, and sometimes we don't want our little world to get ruffled very much. But I've noticed that, and no doubt, as the more you grow, there's new problems that arise. Well, what that does is that forces me to go out and try to find answers, and in doing that, I grow. You know, because I want to handle this situation right, so I get to grow as a person too. So that's kind of neat. You know, so it definitely helps our customers. It allows us to put the business on autopilot. Forces me to grow. It helps our employees grow. No doubt. It's exciting to be a part of a growing company, and it's fun. Like I said, we talked about this in the quick tip video. It's fun seeing you grow from where you are today, from where you were when you first started, and how we're able to this to watch you to grow in this in business. It's been fun to watch. It's fun to watch employees grow, and it's just something that I find very rewarding. And obviously, if I didn't have any employees and I was a one-man show, I wouldn't get the joy of being able to see our employees growing together with me and with the business.
And that's a hard thing too, because like you gotta admit there's not a lot of businessmen out there that probably think that way. Like they're just bosses. You know, they own the company, and if so and so has potential, and boss doesn't care about that, then he just wants him to do his job, then what you just said won't take place.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big heart thing, is that you got to let your employees be who they are and reach their potential, which is what they've allowed me to do, and that's what Wayne just said. And it's like you got to do that, or else your employees won't reach their potential. It's very simple, and that's I feel like that could be like almost the thorn in the flesh, where you've had the bad experiences with managing employees. Like that could be a big part of it too.
Yeah,
they just get fed up with you. It's like, I don't want to work for a boss. I want to work for a leader. That's what it comes down to almost.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you reminded me of sometimes people. We've had a couple of people come to our belief event that they're not really sure what they want to do. I mean, they're already doing some things in real estate, but they're not sure. Now they're sort of at a fork in the road. Do they want to maybe branch out into commercial? Do they want to do something different? But they seem like they're in limbo time. Something, whatever. Well, maybe a revenue stream that they were working doesn't work anymore. So now they're in limbo. Anyhow, it's just interesting that I actually feel sorry sometimes for their employees, for companies that don't want to go anywhere, and they're not really if they're not interested in growing. I think it stagnates employees.
Yep.
And I think, like I said, I think it's fun to be a part, and it's exciting to be a part of a company that's growing.
Yep.
And I think that's another reason to grow your company, is it creates excitement in your company where people enjoy. They know they're going somewhere,
right?
Instead of just putting the widget in the box every day.
Because if you're just throwing somebody to work, I mean, they could go make $15 an hour working at a steel company or something, and it's monotonous work, but they can make more money. But if they see potential in the business growing, and them growing inside of that business that's growing, I mean, then sky's the limit. And now you have a loyal. We talk about loyal customers. Now you have a loyal employee that's stuck with you to the end, and they're just going to enjoy that business growing and help you grow it because of that.
Yeah,
and that's really big. But again, I think that's a heart problem, because a lot of businessmen out there don't think that way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's why we're having this conversation.
Exactly.
We can change their mind,
exactly,
Josh.
Yes.
Another reason that I think it's important to grow a big business is that this is just something personally. I want to be a good steward of what God gives me. If God gives me money, I want to make sure that I'm a good steward of that money. If God gives me time, I want to make sure that I'm a good steward of that time. If God gives me expertise, I want to make sure I'm a good steward of the expertise that I've gotten. And if God gives me influence, I want to make sure I'm a good steward of that influence that He gives me. So I just want to make sure that I'm a good steward of what He has given me. He's given me a amount of time on this earth, and then I'm going to move into eternity.
Yep.
And I want to make sure that while I'm on this earth, that I'm a good steward of everything that He of each day that He gives me. I want to be a good steward of that day. And I think that's another reason.
That includes employees that come your way.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. And then even it kind of even plays into the very last reason, and that's I want to reach my potential too. I want to as challenges come in, it helps me to, as I said before, to grow. But I want to see what I'm capable of. And if I don't push myself, I'm never going to find out what I'm capable of. And as a leader or as a boss, I want to see what I'm capable of. I might be surprised at what sometimes I think we probably limit ourselves and how far we can go. Wow, I just three employees, that's all I can handle. Well, hold on, maybe you have a greater capacity, maybe greater potential than that. Maybe you can handle 20 employees, 25, 30, 100 employees. Yeah. And I like to be able to someday face the Lord and know that I gave it my all, and that I reached my potential while I was on this earth.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question for you that goes along the lines. Now, what do you think the biggest factor that holds somebody back from trying to grow their business? Like, what? And I don't know if Lee mentioned it to you. Like he said, this is the one reason why I don't want to grow my business. Is it because of employees, or is it because they're like scared of shock of like, hey, my business is going to grow this big and I'm just not going to be able to handle it? Or, I mean,
no, I think they're just mainly afraid of people problems.
Yeah.
You know, and people can create messes.
Oh,
even good people can make messes sometimes. You know, unintentionally.
Yeah.
But people can create messes. Sometimes there's, you know, little friction between a couple people that are working together. Well, but see, I look at that as an opportunity for me to grow and maybe help those employees work together better, in better unity and better harmony. So instead of looking at it as, oh, I don't want to do this because there's a big negative, you know, try. Okay, you know, is it a big negative for Lee to not hire other people, and something were to happen to him? And he was, you know, he was not an old guy. He's in his mid-50s, but it's like, Lee, you know, I know people at your age that have strokes, heart attacks. Yeah. If something were to happen to you, wouldn't it be nice if you had an income stream still coming in to you while you were recovering? You know, if you were up on a roof and you fell off and you broke your leg or whatever, absolutely. You know, wouldn't it be kind of nice? I think that's probably the thing that you can't avoid. You know, they think that they're avoiding trouble by not hiring on all these people. However, they're saying yes to a different problem, and that is, if something happens to me, my income goes down to nothing or very little. Right. So you basically pick your potion. You know, you either have employees and you learn to manage employees. And you learn to work with them, and you start, you know, enjoying watching them grow, and while you're learning, while you're growing because you're leading them, or you sit there with a one income stream one line of income coming in where you are the sole person doing it. And like I said, if something were to happen to your painter, if you broke your arm, broke your leg, you know. Friend of mine years ago fell off a roof, hit an air conditioner with his head, became a paraplegic. You know, so it can happen. I mean, things can happen to you, and it's nice if you had your business on autopilot with other people working, that if something happened to you, your income would still keep coming in.
Right, absolutely. And I mean, I think the biggest, so this is obviously why you should grow your business. Now, how to grow your business, that's going to be a whole another topic. And even like pre-growing your business that we talked about earlier about hiring on the right people, there's a whole thing that Gary Harper actually does on, 10 steps to hire and whatnot, and hiring the right people. But I feel like Wayne has done an absolutely fantastic job of putting people around him. I mean, just look at me, right?
There are some exceptions.
Hopefully somebody's watching this and they're actually laughing. But but for real though, I mean, success. There's a quote that says, "Successful people surround themselves with successful people," and if you don't do that, then there's no way that you can grow your business. And another thing too is that it's like, Wayne, you don't directly manage your employees now. You don't. We have department heads that do that, and so Wayne doesn't have to bother with any of that. I mean, there might be one or two times where he has to, stick his nose in because it's necessary, but it's not like he has to do that all the time. So if you're a business owner out there and you're worried about this topic about growing your business, then just keep that in mind. And all the benefits that he gave are just huge. Why wouldn't you want to reach your potential? I don't understand people like that. Maybe you shouldn't be in business if you have that mindset. I don't know.
Well, it's just fear. It is fear. It is, yeah. They had it's the same people. It's the same people that said, "I'll never own another rental property because they had a bad experience with a tenant one time."
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah, let's not have that income stream anymore.
Yeah.
No, let's not learn anything from this experience. No, I say let's learn from this. Let's get better. Mm-hmm. Even if you have a bad employee, okay, it's going to happen.
Right.
But learn from that and move on and do it again. You don't quit just because you have a bad experience. You learn from it and you get better as a result of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that goes along with the whole thing of potential, like reaching
Yeah.
your potential. I just don't understand somebody that doesn't want to reach that, or you're afraid of it, yeah, but like Wayne said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Let it teach you something, and then grow from that personally, and then grow your business after that. But I mean, that's awesome stuff. And like I said, how to grow your business, that's a whole nother topic we'll have to talk about.
Yeah.
But these are the reasons why you should grow your business. And like we said, Wayne came out with a quick tip video a few weeks ago, but we really wanted to dive into this really, really good and whatnot. So is that all you got for us?
That's it.
Awesome stuff. So hopefully that answered your question, Lee. And anybody else out there that is thinking about growing a business, and maybe you are a solopreneur out there, or you have one or two employees like Lee does, a partner or whatever, just think about this stuff and think about what you could do if you actually reached your potential in your business, and how many people you could help, and all these benefits that Wayne just gave. So awesome stuff, Wayne. Thank you for sharing that with us. And we'll definitely have you back on the show later, because I'm sure you get tons and tons of questions from people that you talk to. Wayne's on the phone all day long talking to people, so he gets lots of questions. But anyway, so that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching the Good Success Q&A. And make sure you do submit your questions, because we have answers for them. You guys can go to goodsuccess.com/ask and submit your questions there. It's very easy to do. Ask any questions about business, investing, anything about real estate. We'll bring up a professional on to answer that question for you. You can also submit those on any of our social media platforms, which we'll have all linked below. You've seen them in the cards throughout the video, and you guys can direct message us or instant message us, whatever you want to call it, and submit your question there. So that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to us on YouTube or like our Facebook page. We'll catch you on the next episode.